In Ghana, before a young girl enters senior high school, it's part of the requirements for her to cut her hair. This rule only applies to public senior high schools. There's a video that recently went viral where a young girl was unhappily trimming her hair. This video sparked a lot of conversations on the internet. So many people had a lot to say. I also have a lot to say. Let's talk about it. The first thing I want to understand is, why did this start and how did it start? Let's dive into it. Hi guys, my name is Kanita and welcome to my channel. The African hair has always been a part of history. So let me take you back to the colonial times, back to the transatlantic trade, okay? Before all of this happened, our hair used to be one of the most beautiful things. Hair has always been a part of the African culture pre-colonial time. Cornrows, braids, and all of that have always been there. Back in the days, women put feathers, ornaments, and all sorts of things in their hair. The kind of hairstyle you do show the kind of village you're from, your age, your marital status, and a lot of things. So back, the women really used to cherish their hair. Hair played a really important part of our culture. An example is the Igbo women from the Igbo tribe in Nigeria. They used to put feathers and ornaments in their hair just to beautify their hair. This just to build a premise that before colonial times, we used to love our hair. There came colonialism, the transatlantic trade. In the 17th century, the slaves that were shipped overseas mostly came in with beautiful hair. They came in with their braids, their cornrows. Their hair was seen as unique. Well, we thought our hair was unique, but the Europeans thought otherwise. So the Europeans, our hair was unkempt and not decent enough to meet their standards. So the slaves had to cut off their hair. If you observe most of the pictures and videos or whatever footage you have during the colonial time, you observe that the women didn't really do much with their hair. Most of the women really had like low cut. It was all part of the thing. The slave masters would shave your hair and ship you off. This is because back then, the European standards of beauty was seen as the epitome of beauty. If you don't have the long, straight, shiny hair, you are not considered beautiful. The slaves used cornrows as a means of communication with each other. They used to braid patterns, designs, all these things in their hair just to communicate with each other and find ways to escape from their slave master. The hair was that powerful. But the enforcement of the European culture stripped all of this away from us. Let's come down to Ghana during the colonial times. So when education was introduced to separate the blacks, the true Ghanaians from the mixed ones and from the whites, the black kids had to trim their hair. And also because they saw our hair as unkept and not clean enough and not decent enough to fit their educational system or mode of dressing. This happened for a while. You had to trim your hair before you could go to school. It was part of the standards to be enrolled. And the funny thing is, Ghana gained independence in 1957. In as much as we gained independence, we were not really free because we kept some of their traditions, things that they introduced to us. An example is the hair. The concept of trimming your hair became normalized, it became common. It was the standard from the 1960s till now. That's how the whole brouhaha of trimming our hair started. For those of you wondering where the whole thing started or how it came about. Let me bring you back to Ghana 2025. The Minister of Education says,
there is an ongoing debate in social media about haircuts and size and length of hair in secondary schools. We will not tolerate it today, we will not tolerate it tomorrow, and so long as we are molding character. If we give in to hair today, tomorrow it will be shoes. That your child will walk into any institution of learning as if that child, forgive my words, was to attend a beauty contest. The school environment is not for that purpose and not cut for that purpose, and we will not tolerate that as an institution.
He's going to maintain the practice of females keeping a short hair in public senior high schools because it's a way of molding them, because the educational institution is there to mold their character and it's not a beauty contest. And I asked myself, what does hair have to do with the molding character? But well. From what I've gathered, most of the heads of these schools are deciding to keep this law or this rule because of uniformity, and some say it's cheaper to maintain. What are people saying? There are two sides of the coin. There are some that agree and there are some that do not agree. So those that agree to girls cutting their hair in senior high school believe that it's cheaper and is to ensure uniformity in the schools. It looks like those people have won because the Minister of Education in Ghana clearly came out to say, he said nothing is going to change and he agrees and it should keep going. No long hair in school. You just have to keep cutting your hair till you finish school and decide to do whatever you want to do with your hair because senior high school is not a beauty pageant. Let's reflect on these points. The junior high school I went to, girls were required to cut their hair. Although it's not a senior high school and it wasn't even public, it was private, we still had to cut our hair because that's just a decision the school took. So in junior high school, I had to cut my hair. I graduated from a private senior high school. I wasn't required to cut my hair. My experience in my junior high school was weird because why do foreigners get to keep their hair and black kids or Ghanaians have to trim their hair? If Ghanaians have to trim their hair, the foreigners or other girls who are not Ghanaians have to trim their hair as well. If you claim the whole point of this is uniformity to ensure that everyone is equal, there's no discrimination, nobody feels like, oh, this person is prettier than me and all of that. But that is not the case. A good example is the school I went to, my junior high school. We, the black kids, were required to cut our hair, but you see the other Lebanese kids and all of that with their hair. Why can't they cut their hair short to our level if this is truly about uniformity? I think hair shouldn't be the metric of uniformity. We can all cut our hair. There's still little competition and rivalry within the girls. Hair shouldn't be the main metric or shouldn't be the focus. That's just my opinion. Second thing is what the lawmakers and people in high positions are saying is that we need to trim our hair before we go to senior high school to avoid distraction and to help us focus in school. The kids who go to private schools get to keep their hair and they're also able to focus and graduate and get good grades too. So how does hair affect your brains? Like, it's so confusing. And so I can understand if you say it saves money. If you look at the whole globe, you look at students in Asia, you look at students in maybe different continents that get to keep their hair. The most brilliant women outside Africa got to keep their hair in high school. That didn't make them less brilliant or make them less intelligent. So I just don't buy the whole hair equals brains kind of thing. What I think needs to be done is hair care should be part of the grooming process. You see how they teach you how to weed, how to sweep, how to lay your bed and all of that? It should be incorporated in the school system as well, because I think this is going to help us love our hair more. It's so sad and heartbreaking that we don't love our hair because we do not understand our hair. We've tuned our minds to the fact that our hair is difficult, our hair is hard to manage. We just perm our hair or get. And guess who you are making rich if you are buying the wigs and perming your hair? Who are we making rich? Dark and Lovely is one of the popular brands of hair relaxers in Africa. And guess who owns it? L'Oreal. Yeah. And where is L'Oreal? France. Exactly. So we are buying relaxers. We are buying wigs. We are making who rich? The Chinese, the Europeans. If we get to accept and understand our hair, we will be spending less on wigs, spending less on hair relaxers, which even damage our hair in the long run. It should be an option. Keep your hair if you want. Trim your hair if you want. It's just very disheartening that we are not given an option. We are told that you have to do this. There are so many ways the hair can be maintained. Cornrows, twists, and all of that. In as much as we've moved past colonialism and all of that, it still has a huge impact on us, and it breaks my heart so much. We are made to think our hair is not beautiful. We are made to think if you don't have long, straight, curly, flowy hair, you are ugly. So we tend to buy wigs just to look European or meet the European standard of beauty. If you go to the salon to do your hair, the women complain. We're like, hey, your hair is hard or your hair is difficult. Because they don't know how to handle your hair. They don't know that with this kind of hair, you need to be gentle. It needs moisture. It needs this. It needs that. We don't know all of these things. Rastafarianism, which is a religion deep-rooted in spirituality and reclaiming the African heritage. One of their main characteristics is having the Rasta, which is the locks, the dreadlocks. But guess what? The dreadlocks has been associated with crime, drugs, and all sorts of things. So just because someone has dreads, even if they keep it clean and all of that, we just automatically think they're bad, they're committing crime, they're into drugs or something. I really love what happened in Ghana a few years back where my guy Tyrone took Achimota School to court over his hair. This boy had his hair. He maintained his rasta throughout school. He ended up being one of the best students, got a bunch of scholarships, and is currently studying computer engineering in the USA. So are you going to say because he had his dress, it distracted him so he couldn't focus, he couldn't learn? He had dreads, but he was able to even do well and surpass students who had low cuts. Let's see what some people are talking about online. Ochami Kwame said, the best education will teach you about who you are. It will focus on your brain, not your hair. Yeah, that's so true. And I really, really agree. And what the Maya posted, pushing haircuts on high school girls often ends up empowering the fake hair industry. Instead, let's encourage them to wear their natural hair with pride, because embracing our natural hair is part of celebrating our African identity. And I 100% agree with this. We need to learn to love our hair. And that's a big problem. We have this mentality that our hair is bad, our hair is not good enough, our hair is unkempt, our hair is trouble, which shouldn't be the case. We've grown past those stages. We are evolving as human beings. Something that was practiced in colonial times to cause segregation or to separate the black kids from the mixed kids or the white kids is still being practiced now, and that just blows my mind. Even if it's still being practiced, molded in a way that suits today's world. Do you understand me? So if we are cutting our hair, maybe not too low, you could keep your afro, you could do braids, or at least more education on our hair and understanding our hair, the textures, how it works, how you can maintain it, how to make it look clean and all of that. And I think the choice of cutting the hair should be left to the parents. This is so interesting and funny. This is from Joy Prime. The presenter is saying that if shaving one's head or keeping short hair build discipline, Ghana will be the most disciplined nation on earth. When you go to parliament, there are plenty of sakura, yet they still with impunity. That is so true. There's no correlation between hair and character in discipline and morality. Culture is dynamic. It changes, and let's allow it to change, and let's stop holding. One thing about the typical Ghanaian is that we are scared of change. Ghanaians are scared of change. We are scared to evolve. I don't know if it's just a Ghanaian problem or Africa problem. We are scared of anything new that's come. So if someone does something new, you are either shamed or you are seen as a weirdo, because we are so relaxed and laid back as people. We like to be comfortable, and we are not really used to change. So if somebody brings something new, or someone decides to be daring and do something new, the person is seen as weird, the person is seen as you're doing too much, or oh, you are too known or something. So the system doesn't make you outspoken. It rather dims you, it suppresses you. You see the energy they are putting into making sure girls keep a short hair, do this, do that. I really wish they put that energy into building educational system, introducing courses or classes that are aligned with what's going on right now, like AI, with coding, technology, all those things. We should be putting our energy into that instead of focusing on things that don't even matter. We are trying so bad to be like the Western world, but when you come to the Western world, you'll be surprised that all these things don't matter. You can see a policeman with tattoos, a man with braids, with piercing, walking around, living a normal life, doing a normal job. But these are the things we penalize back home, and it doesn't make sense. Colonialism has made us love our colonizers more than ourselves. We try to seek validation from our colonizers so much. We want to do everything to please them. It's okay if you disagree with whatever I've said in this video. I'm just sharing my thoughts, and yeah, I just think we come to a peaceful conclusion. If the girls are keeping their hair, you could regulate it. Maybe everyone does cornrows, no attachment, or maybe no decorations in the hair. Simple. And that's a choice. So those who want to keep their hair low, keep it clean, keep it sweet, keep it nice. Those who want to get braids, there are rules. What I don't understand is the whole morality, discipline thing being thrown around. Why is it always a thing to discipline the women? Women always have to dim their shine for others to shine, or sacrifice a lot. If this is your first time watching me, my name is Kanitat. I have a lot of opinions, but I barely share them online. I intend to make more videos like this, so subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share. And let me know all your thoughts in the comment section. Like, I'm really, really eager to know what you guys think. We're going to have a full-blown discussion in the comment section. So yeah, keep it going and share the video. Bye.